Hi, everybody. This is SAAD for the SAAD Truth. Some of you may know that today is Darwin Day. In 1809, Charles Darwin was born, so it's now 210 years ago. Uh, I thought that I would take a moment or two to demonstrate how Charles Darwin is really the originator, at least certainly within biology, of something that I've often talked about, this notion of nomological networks of cumulative evidence. This is the idea that when you're trying to demonstrate that a phenomenon is an adaptation or has a biological slash evolutionary root, what you try to do is amass as much information as you can from, cross-culturally, cross-temporally, so across time and across culture, from different disciplines, from different methodologies, different paradigms, all of which, when that data is put together, makes it unassailable that the scientific argument that you're making looks quite incontrovertible. So, in a recent paper that I published, I demonstrated the epistemology of evolutionary psychology, which specifically utilizes this completely different way of thinking about how to amass evidence. And this is a process that I independently came to because, in trying to Darwinize various disciplines that had heretofore been quite hostile to biology and to evolutionary theory, I had to come up with ways to convince my colleagues that, of course, consumers are biological beings. Of course, the human mind is shaped by natural and sexual selection and so on. Well, since today is Darwin Day, I wanted to point out that the original, the OG of nomological networks of cumulative evidence is none other than Darwin himself, when he was trying to make the case for natural selection in his classic book, Origin of Species. He didn't rely on a singular line of evidence stemming from one discipline. He didn't run one set of experiments or one set of observations or analyze one set of data. He systematically collected data from a very, very broad range of disciplines, from comparative anatomy to botany to geology to biodiversity and so on, animal husbandry, all of which, excuse me, when you put it together, it made it quite a unassailable theory. And for more than 150 years now, the book came out in 1859, so 160 years, a lot of very committed people have been trying to falsify the key premises of evolutionary theory to no avail. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that there aren't specific ideas in evolutionary theory that are up for debate, or that specific hypotheses are not falsified. Hypotheses in evolutionary theory are falsified every day. So those who think that, evolutionary theory, evolutionary psychology is just a bunch of just so storytelling, unfalsifiable nonsense, are simply demonstrating their profound, their gargantuan ignorance. Evolutionary theory, as I've explained repeatedly, sets the evidentiary threshold much higher than other sciences, precisely because it has to adhere to a very high evidentiary threshold before it is able to proclaim that something is an adaptation. So, again, I take the time to do this today because it is Darwin Day. And again, it's important to recognize him for his brilliance. But as relating to today's topic, this idea of nomological networks of cumulative evidence, that's why his theory is so powerful, because he was so assiduous in collecting data from so many disparate areas that once you put the whole puzzle together, it became quite clear that his theory was veridical. I discuss, by the way, all this in my forthcoming book when I lead off with this exact point regarding Charles Darwin, and then I demonstrate how nomological networks of cumulative evidence is really an important way to think, and then I apply it to certain current realities that the world is facing. So there you have it, folks. Happy Darwin Day. Uh, there's only one path to intellectual enrichment, and that is through science, through logic, through reason, through evidence-based thinking. And so if you're going to pray at the altar of something, pray at the altar of science. It is the liberating way. Wishing you all a great day. Hope your week is off to a good start. Well, I guess it's the second day of the week. And we're bracing here for a pretty nasty storm. Wish us luck in the frozen tundra. Cheers, everybody.